What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Raf and ESPARZA, coming to you with another great installment of the Bullpen, a joint venture between Inside BJJ and the Grappling Hour. How are you doing this Friday? I hope well. It's been a long-ass week. After having a holiday, we get all discombobulated. We don't know how to get back to work here in America, is what I'm saying. 4-week work days. Let's do that. That wouldn't change things for us here on the show, actually, now that I think about it, because mostly I'd still be doing work. But nonetheless, we are eating good in jiu-jitsu, and some of us better than others if we promote people fast. Nonetheless, why don't we go ahead and say hi to my good friend, one Timothy J. Freeman. Tim, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Raf. Great to be here. Lots of things happen in the world of jiu-jitsu this week. As you've alluded to, it's like I want to talk about it and I don't want to talk about it. But if you see a train wreck on your way home, you got to mention it to your wife when you get home. So we got to talk about it today, but it's great to be here, man. I'm stoked. I'm ready to bang this board. Let's go, man. Papa's got to eat. Let's go.
It's not even that I don't want to do the board. And that phrasing, slightly less objectionable. It's more so you said you want to bang the board.
It's a hockey term. You got to bang the boards, man.
Tim, have you considered, what if I didn't let you bang the board, bro?
I mean, then I would have to bang something else, I guess.
All right, fine. I will let you bang the board, bro. Why don't we start with the topic that everybody here has been talking about? Tim and I have alluded to it. You've been talking about it in the comment section, and even the guy here has been talking about it. There is a gentleman who has been promoted by the likes of Jake Shields and Lyoto Machida and Mikey Musumeci and Gordon and all of these people, all of the basic amazing jiu-jitsu practitioners have formed together and said that this dude in 3.5 years has bypassed everybody else because he is, as Mikey Musumeci says, a genius. Tim, I will give you first crack at discussing the Moneyberg that has become such a phenomenon to us in the world of professional jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Moneybergs. So here's the thing. Jiu-jitsu has been very, very self-policing throughout its history. And so what I mean by that is, remember on the message boards, guys would coordinate a dojo storm because Joe Jerkoff opened up a jiu-jitsu school and he's saying he's a black belt and there's no black belts within 1,200 miles of where we're at. So there's no way this guy's a black belt. And they'd go down there and test him. And, 99% of the time they were not black belts, but it was very self-policing. Now, it's not quite that bad anymore. People are quite more friendly. You can't just be going into places beating dudes up. But anytime somebody goes on Reddit or they go to social media, like, I got my black belt. Usually everyone's like, hands, happy, you earned it. Fire sign, fire sign. I like to do the lightning strike. But listen, he made a critical error. All right. You can't brag about how fast you got your black belt unless you're whooping ass in competition. Then we see it. We're like, oh, yeah, makes sense. Gio Martinez, 4 years. Duh. BJ Penn, 5 years. Duh. We get it. Totally makes sense. If you go, I'm Joe Moneyberg, and I got my black belt in 3.5 years. And you look at this guy, and you're like, yeah, who's this guy? Like, I've never seen this guy before. He's got the who's who of the grappling world standing next to him, and they're all wearing his shirt, which is another, like, a little bit of a odd sign. But so, man, the jiu-jitsu world flips out about this, and it's all over the place. I just got to say this. Look, I haven't heard of it. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm not saying that, but this doesn't pass the look test. Like the look test when they're trying to bust guys for using steroids in the UFC, they just give them a look test. They're like, look at this guy, man. He's shredded. We got to test this guy. He doesn't pass the black belt look test, not 3.5 years. If you told me 33.5 years, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. My question is this black belt registered with the IBJJF, number one? And look, dude, if you're going to do it, you should have had them present you with a spin on the UFC BJJ belt. That should have been your black belt. You missed the boat. Then nobody would be mad at you, but you got a real black belt. So I don't know, man. If you manage your own IMDb and you manage your own Wikipedia page, I can't trust you. So community, it's a really interesting thing. If he was shredded and ripped, we'd probably believe him. But this guy looks like he's like John Belushi's stand-in or something. Like he's just
hold on. Are we trying to figure out what he looks like? Because oh boy, have I been waiting for this. Now, I want to be honest here. He put up a statement. We'll read it a little bit more in depth here in a second. But he basically said he's going to pull funding from all jiu-jitsu ventures at this point. So I wasn't sure if I was going to do this joke, but if he's not going to support anybody from here on out, I mean, what do we got to lose at this point? It's on the particular appearance, and I don't love making fun of how people look, but sometimes appearances become so strong that we must turn to math to figure out how the look exactly came to be. And I feel like I've solved the equation here. For example, take Glenn Danzig, noted not able to fight guy. Add him with Vigo, the evil villain from Ghostbusters 2, and I think you get Mr. Moneyberg. Now, here's my issue, Tim. I just want to keep this up here for a second longer. It took me a minute to make this go. Listen, I think this is undeniable proof because all I've ever thought is these guys came together. If they made it, had a love child. All right, here we go. What do you want us to say about this guy? Think about it. If this guy wasn't bragging that he did it in 3.5 years, would we care? If they didn't put a post that said he joins the likes of Kit Dale and Cowterra and all these people who got their black belts super fast, would we care? The difference is for those people, they compete. So there's usually an expectation like, we'll get to see it. Here, you just have a dude who has the benefit of saying, well, I did it fast and I'm not saying I'm them, but I'm up there. Okay. You're rich. A lot of people have to believe in themselves to get to that level in very extreme ways. I'm not even against that. I think it's the way in which he wrote the post that it made it seem like those financial posts that are almost multi-level marketing schemes. So as he's putting it up there, that sniff test that Tim is talking about is us going, that doesn't feel authentic. That feels actually terrible. And when you get a lot of people who have their feels about it, the next thing they want to see is footage, and they release footage. And guess what? Yikes, it got worse because we saw how he was rolling with Mikey and getting a crucifix? ? I'll tell you this much. This is the first time I've ever seen a high-level practitioner like a Mikey get submitted, and in the background, you could hear the ka-ching cash register sound every time Mikey got tapped. Of course, those high-profile people are going to come to his defense because if you notice, he was threatening to pull the BJJ resources from everybody. And guess what? You suddenly become a little more concerned about defending that guy if the money's going to be depleted. Let me just read to you what this says that he put out about, as my good friend Alec Balding says, the pores. It says, and I'll pull Tim back here in a second. I'm actually going to stop funding gay people. People so blah, blah, blah. I've trained thousands and top contenders from BJJ and most UFC. Everyone that knows me well speaks to my intelligence, hard work, and character. I guess the best way to convince me of your hard work and character isn't for you to say. Believe me, a lot of people say I've got hard work and character. I think that's usually like the first sign, like, does this guy have hard work and character? Well, he said it himself. Case closed. And this is the hard part, but the general public in this sport is extraordinarily low functioning, sir. It's called autistic.
Wait.
Be nice to us. A lot of us suffer from learning disabilities. And you can't just go out there and just start saying shit about it. Like, oh, yeah, these are very low functional human beings. No, we're special. We do things in particular ways that are unique to us. Some got the creative kind. Others got the, like, I can't listen to you talk. I have to overtalk you kind. Everybody got a special one. I wish I got the Rain Man kind. I didn't. Nonetheless, I started training at 42 to be fit, learn skills, and be able to defend myself and my loved ones effectively when I'm in my 60s and traveling the world. So really, do we get to see him compete in his 60s? And is the real way to test his skill to go out and attack him as he's traveling the world at 60? I don't like inciting violence, but it does seem like that's the intention. Because if the idea is he just wants to be able to defend his loved ones, yeah, okay, that's no problem. We're in that. Now, here's where he starts to get us a little confused again. I never said I was the best fighter in the world or anything of the sort, but you did make a post about it. You know what I mean? Like, I got my black belt real quick and I'm real good. Like, you know what I mean? You didn't say it, but you said it. And then the last part is, I am working on my second black belt in Kempo. Well, I imagine that can only go swimmingly as well. Tim, any final thoughts on this very divisive issue that has been happening and one that has been creating a lot of comment section fodder?
Yes. Calling the jiu-jitsu community low functioning is quite funny, but let's be honest. You're a mathematical genius. You're basically our Einstein. You figured out the equation that solved this guy. That's irrefutable proof. You threw it out on the table. So he doesn't quite know exactly what he's talking about. Outside of that, who was he funding? Besides the guys that he's getting all these lessons from? And are they kind of looking at each other like, oh shit, is he talking about us? They're like, wait, I love this guy. He's super awesome. He's super good, like in damage control. I have no idea, man. They're all great. All those names that you mentioned outside of Moneyberg are all great at jiu-jitsu and grappling and fighting. Like, no question about it. Just not Mr. Berg. So yeah, man, it's interesting. I like self-policing. I think it's still necessary. I don't think it's good to just have dudes that have a bunch of money show up. Look, when did he get his blue belt? Like in 3 weeks of training, you know, like when did he get a purple belt? Like last year? How long was he a brown belt? There's no way. I don't buy it.
2 things on this one. First, open challenge to another rich person. Get your blue belt in 6 weeks. Get your black belt in 3 years. Let's see what he has to say then. And then say, I could have only done this with my super genius intellect and that nobody could have done it before me.
Can I just say one more thing? I'm sorry. Look, Zuckerberg has probably 100x the amount of money and access that this dude has. And Zuckerberg's actually training all the time. And what is he? He's like a blue belt still. And he's been at it for a minute. So if anybody could just like do it, like, oh, you could just do it. You could spend a bunch of money and train with 40 guys and you just got it. You're going to get it. Because he's more than likely, he's actually training. Like he's training with Dave Camarillo, who's no joke, right? He's a bona fide, legit, like serious coach and competitor. So I just don't buy Moneybergs, dude. I want to see him and Zuck fight. Let's see Zuckerberg versus Moneyberg. This is for the Berg belt. Let's fucking go. Let's do this shit.
Berg belt.
UFC BJJ season 2. Let's see it.
Hey, Craig's trying to make it happen for CJI Dose.
CJI.
I'm into that. Can I just say one guiding principle, though? Whatever Jake Shields is doing, do the opposite. So if he says this guy is great, it means the opposite. Just know that is also part of the mathematic equation that has given us this genius work. Foolproof. There you go. All right, let's go to our next topic here. You know what, Tim? I don't think we're done with that guy. Somehow, something in the back of my mind says he's going to reappear at a time we need him the most. And I can't wait for that to happen because this felt like a first shot. This felt like, all right, you fuckers, I'm not going to talk about jiu-jitsu or show you guys any money anymore. And I'm going to think to myself, well, who does that affect? And maybe he's a great enthusiast. Maybe we lost a real good charitable person who just has terrible chat GPT skills. Maybe he was a good guy the whole time and we were just being too mean to him.
Mm-hmm.
But rich people love revenge. So what happens now? Like, what happens? How does he come back? Who is he targeting? Which people in the comment section is he going after? I just think he's mildly amusing, and I'm happy he did the sport, but I just think it's kind of funny that he wrote a certain thing that didn't get the response he wanted. And if there's one thing you know about rich people is if you can pay somebody like Gordon Ryan to tell you exactly what you want to hear, when you don't pay other people, they're going to tell you what you don't want to hear. So that's kind of why it came out surprising, I think. But what do I know? Let's go to our next topic. Tim, GRIPGATE. Okay, a bit more about this one because I've seen the video you sent me and it does not strike crazy, but I need some context here and then we'll go from there. So Tim, what are we about to look at here?
Okay, so 2024 ADCC Absolutes, Mika Galvao meets up with Dante Leon. Dante did not do super well in the weight class. I think it was under 66 kilo or something like that. I actually don't remember. Can't remember what the weight class was. Anyway, him and Mika were in the same division. Mika ran that division. Leon didn't do that great. They fought again at the Absolutes, and Dante beat Mika. And apparently Mika's been thinking about this, and he's gone back, and he recently this week went out to Instagram, published a video, and he's saying, listen, Dante beat me because he used an illegal grip. And I was like, what? Like illegal grip and no-gi jiu-jitsu? So I'm fascinated by this when I read it. I'm like, what did he do? I'm thinking like he grabbed the gi shorts or the grappling shorts or the rashi. I'm like, couldn't even remember if Dante was shirtless or not. A lot of guys go to ADCC shirtless. To avoid this, they wear less clothing. And I just want to throw that clue out there. Then I watched the video, and Mika's got a damn belt on, and I forgot this cat and in their school, they wear their belt when they do no-gi, not just in class, but at the most prestigious tournament in the whole world. I'm going to wear my belt. And he got salty because on this video, you could see Leon has an open hand grip. He has a hand grip like this, and it's not the belt that's around the waist. It's the two ends after you tie it that hang down. And you could just see he's just palming it. Like when the TSA gives you the check, because they think you got something in your pants. It's just like, it's not a real squeeze. There's no grip to it. It's just a palm. So that's the controversy. I sent you the video because it's kind of comical to see. And I really wanted to get your take on it. And I think it's interesting to bring it up a year later. Like, did somebody just point this out to him, or has he been like waiting for the right time? I don't know.
Okay. I am going to slide this in here. I don't know what to expect from it other than I just kind of glanced at it and nothing jumped out at me during the quality assurance that I was doing on it. But Tim, you bring up a good case here, and you do present this in a way that might cause some concern if you've never seen it before. But why don't we take a look at what we're looking at here? All right. So first things I've seen on this, Tim, is that yes, is he explaining he got touched in the tit? Is that what's happening? That was the illegal grip?
It's Leon's right hand. It's his bottom hand. It's like you could see it's like getting near Mika's belt like tassel that hangs
Okay.
down. And I think Mika's trying to say he tugged on the belt, right? He did an illegal belt tug, which there's no rule for in no-gi jiu-jitsu because we don't wear belts in no-gi jiu-jitsu.
I don't know what to do.
Everybody knows this. Look, you can't bring liquid through TS jiu-jitsu belts to no-gi tournaments. Like, guys are trying to show up with less. He's coming in full regalia. Like, he wants to come as Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. He's going to get salty because somebody touched his cloak. There's no controversy, in my opinion. This is ridiculous.
So hold on. You wear this belt that doesn't need to be worn, and then you're surprised when someone tries to grab for the belt. So maybe, again, don't wear the belt and problem solved, but it seems like it was such a fashion statement. Like, we're doing it for a reason. That's just what we do at our school. And how dare you touch this belt? Like, it's kind of like when Will Ferrell showed up and he had a bird on his shoulder on Conan. And Conan's like, oh my God, what about this bird? He goes, we're not here to talk about the bird. Like, it's kind of like that in the sense that I want you to give attention to this thing that doesn't need to be on here, because the belt should be holding something up and it's not. At least in gi, it's kind of keeping your shit together, keeping the kimono closed, the gi top closed. It kind of serves a purpose there. What purpose does that belt serve in the no-gi function other than as I am pretending I'm a samurai right now? Because to me, it doesn't need to be part of the uniform. You know what? For a long time, they talked about superheroes in capes and that capes are unnecessary. I argue belts in no-gi training at the highest competitive level arguably are Super Bowl, are Olympics. Not necessary. So they're that. Tim,
I agree.
I thank you for bringing that to the attention of our group here. Why don't we move on? There were some updates that happened for the PGF. One of the biggest is that, yes, the schedule is now public to everybody. I had a chance to look, and I had to stop looking at it because there were some really good matches that were announced. But Tim, for your, and we'll do a full breakdown later, but what stood out to you about that actual calendar?
The thing that stuck out to me the most in these brackets were just released today. I haven't had a ton of time to go through them either. But what really popped off to me is that they're kicking it off with Jet Thompson, which, you know, I think they are kind of solidifying him as the marquee guy in this tournament, which is really freaking cool to see. You know, like that's actually a really cool thing. So pretty stoked about that. Oh, it looks like they might have changed it already. Holy cow. They did. Damn. Anyway, yeah, there's some great matchups on the card, man. Let me see. Let me look at the first day one. Oh, this is match 26. Dude, I'm struggling finding these brackets set up correctly, to be honest with you. Let's see.
You know what? We will revisit these at a later time.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. We unfortunately had one unforeseen circumstance here, which was technology's involvement in the announcement of the calendar. Who knew it was going to switch a little bit on us? But I guess what we can tell you is, yes, having Jet Thompson start. BMAC was on our show the other day, and he said he learned this from Eddie Bravo, which is you make your top star go first because people have expectations. They want to see that person. And that first match with Jet Thompson, it's fire. Like, it is super good to see. So I'm excited to see these prospects go up. But I would ask you this, though, Tim. If you get a chance, you might want to look at day 2 and just skim through it, because the note that we had from BMAC was that's going to be Rivals Day. Like, that's grudge match day. So,
oh, interesting.
It's going to be really intense to watch that day go through. So I'm very excited for these things. But did you see any other thing that jumped out at you?
Yeah, I actually did. Christos Papadelos and Dominic Lobo are match 5. And look, Christos already made a statement, a very long, elaborate statement, but this guy's great at jiu-jitsu and he's constantly getting better. And Lobo's coming in with a chip on his shoulder. So I'm like really stoked to see what happens in that match. I think that's going to be a real interesting match to watch out for. Who else? I'm going to check day 2, man. I really like, Papadelos and Jet Thompson, Elmore and Molina. This is some really good matchups, man. Now I'm getting hungry. This is dope.
Well, that's very nice.
Oh, Mike John. Nice. Okay.
We're going to cut it off here and bring a full analysis on our Tuesday show. And in case you guys didn't know, we are doing Tuesday shows for PGF-centric news. So we'll get some more information to you on our upcoming episode this Tuesday. Be sure to check out your listings for when that goes up. But we're going to move on to our next topic, which is who's number 129. It does look like that's going to be an intense week, Tim. Who's number 1 looks like it's the same week as the upcoming UFC BJJ date and the second week of the PGF. So we're going to be eating pretty well. But what did you notice about the schedule and the list of opponents for the upcoming who's number 1?
So it's going to be in Miami, Florida. I just chatted with Ben last night from Flow Grappling, just briefly. He's like, come down to Miami, watch it. I'm like, yeah, let me drive down there. Let's see. Kit Dale versus Wagner Rocha is the main event. And that's an interesting main particular style that he really doesn't deviate from. Own kind of sauce too. So this is either going to turn out to be really entertaining, like a snooze fest, right? I'm still interested in seeing it. Adele Fornerino is taking on Jasmine Rocha, which is what you can't sign one Rocha without getting them all now. Like they all come and fight on the same card. And then we got Roberto Jimenez and Ryan Aiken. And I think that is going to be great, really sick matchup there, man. Aiken had a great year last year. He's doing fantastic, man. But Roberto's just one of these guys who could beat anybody on any day. You never know with that guy. I always tune in to watch Roberto. So it's a pretty dope card, man. It's looking real good.
Would agree with that. And I'm super stoked to see them. You know, they're kind of taking it on the road, Tim. They were just out Costa Mesa. Home base is Texas for them. Now they're going to Miami. It's very interesting to see the coverage that they're starting to do. I wonder if this is to maybe set them a little bit more apart from ADCC and from the Craig Jones Invitational, where they're traveling a little bit more. Because even EBI has become very stationary with its usual Mexico residency that they have. So I wonder if that's kind of the way that they're like, hey, you know, we have an advantage where we can travel a little bit.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, why not do it?
Having said that, we're going to move on to our next one. And I thought this was great. You actually brought up a very good point, which is that the Real American Freestyle Federation, I guess is what we want to call it, the RAFF. I'm going to add one more just because I don't want to be too associated with it. They've made some interesting talent purchases. It looks like the Bischoff and Hulk Hogan backed organization just signed some major talent, the least of which, in terms of being surprising, is that they signed Chael Sonnen to be one of the commentators, which is a pretty big get. But then they also announced that Bo Nickel, who has been very busy with his UFC career, is going to be one of the wrestling participants. So what can you tell us about this latest update for that organization, Tim?
Yeah, so they announced that Bo Nickel is set to compete at the inaugural Real American Freestyle event on August 30th in Cleveland, and he's going to be facing Jacob Cardenas. Look, I think they had to go out and get somebody because they lost Snyder, right? He got caught up in whatever that legal issue was, and he was the main name. He was the big guy, and so they had to get somebody else. Nickel's got a big name. More interesting to me is that even though Nickel was stopped by Rene de Ridder, like, you know, back in May, he's still under contract with the UFC. And the UFC's playing nice with Real American Freestyle. And Chael Sonnen works with the UFC. And he's playing nice. He's working with Real American Freestyle. I wouldn't be surprised if the UFC in the future makes a play for Real American Freestyle. The reason being is they're developing a talent infrastructure to bring guys in so they can pull dudes in that can potentially one day be in the UFC. So that's why they're pulling in jiu-jitsu guys, not because they love jiu-jitsu. It's because they're looking for talent, man. You need talent to fight on these huge cards and make billions of dollars. And this is just another avenue to get it. So I wouldn't be shocked. I want to watch this, man. I'm just interested. Anything that Hogan and Bischoff are doing, I'm going to at least watch once. Unless it's like a sex tape, because I already saw that one. Ruined my childhood, so kind of not necessary. Not everything they do.
What am I supposed to say? Okay. Did you not see the TNA organization when Hogan was there? And now they're coming out to say that back in like the late 2000s, 2010s, that Hogan didn't actually have creative control. But one of the first things you heard was that Hogan said, oh, the 6 ring side thing, let's get rid of that. That was like TNA's signature. And so they tried doing this whole rebranding, and all of Bischoff and Hogan's ideas just went to shit. And I have to tell you, Bischoff has experience as an executive. Back in 1997, things have changed dramatically. And now he's become more of a personality, like somebody who critiques on it and has a place of authority because he's one of the only people who beat the WWE for 83 weeks. How do I know that? He has a podcast called 83 Weeks. So it tells you the name and the significance behind it all together in one. So it's not that he doesn't have merit with it. My concern is this. Tim, how many tickets do you think this thing has sold?
200.
Actually, I can tell you it's doing better than you think. The last Real American Freestyle update was on July 9th. And at that, I can tell you 457 tickets have been distributed. The current available setup is 3,882. So when you say that the UFC needs to consider bringing it in, I don't think they want that baggage. Don't be surprised if UFC pulls the same thing that they did with jiu-jitsu, where they just go, we're just going to call it UFC BJJ. I'm just kidding. UFC wrestling. Ta-da. Here you go. Or Real American UFC, which actually, damn, I'm really good at this, Tim. But the thing that I see here from this is you have to ask yourself, why isn't it selling? Because those are some good names. That's good talent. It's $39.60. I've seen people like Yanni and all these other people that I go, man, the talent's not bad. And wrestling does do a good job for like the collegiate levels of getting people hyped and interested. I'm just wondering if they're still in the learning phases of how to create it as an entertainment product. Because I'll tell you this, them not selling out more than 500 tickets with 2 established names that have done big business in TV tells you everything you need to know about how the business has changed structurally. And it makes you wonder what the association of a Bischoff or a Hogan really does for this organization. So having said all of that, I won't be surprised if they comp more tickets, if they really spend heavy, and it depends on how long they want to open their pocketbooks up for this one. But I am slightly intrigued by the talent. I'll be interested to see how they do the creative in terms of the video packages and the actual execution of the live broadcast. I'm tentatively nervous on this one, Tim, and I will just tell you that up front because it sounds like, damn, you would think that would have done better, especially in Ohio. Like, what else do they have going on in Ohio? If people in Ohio aren't even buying tickets because they have nothing better to do, yikes. So nonetheless, good luck to them. But there was a lot of chatter online for Bo and saying like, well, I guess he's done with the UFC. And I don't think that's necessarily true. But I got to be honest with you guys. if I got hurt and went down and fall down, go boom, I might take some time off too. That doesn't look like a
Yeah.
fun gig when you don't win. Nonetheless, we go up to some CJI dose sort of updates. Tim, there was a big switcheroo that happened. And no, I'm not talking about the Taylor Pillman. Tyler Pearman. Tyler Pearman. He's come on the show and he's a friend, but I feel like his name is wrong. He told me how to pronounce
that happens
it
every once
and I
in
was
a
like,
while.
yeah, I don't like that. That doesn't work for me. But anyway, Tyler and Paul Ardilla, they had a weird switcheroo where Paul is on a different team now and Tyler's now on like Team USA Misfits. It's very strange. But nonetheless, what are the big swap outs that have happened in the time since we've chat?
So the major news is that the Australian Misfits have had a replacement brought in for Levi Jones Leary. He's taking some time off. Who's number 129 card at the end of the month. So they haven't said anything over a flow about this. I think to fight. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was Owen Jones. Never mind. Not Levi. Say it's his brother. Levi's the guy that makes the jeans. So I guess he's going to be pulling out and they're going to bring in Kenta Iwamoto, who's also a super exciting fighter. Like totally different style than Levi though. Like if you were building a team with specific guys, which I don't think they were because they did trials and I think they were trying to mostly make it to where like the best guys would get to go. But Levi Jones is very guard heavy. He's super awesome at that. And Ken is like kind of the opposite. He's a top pressure guy. So it'll be interesting to see how it breaks down. I'm sure there's going to be more changes. There'll probably be changes all the way up, a week out from the event. Not a major blow, but it would be cool to see Levi Jones back at CJI. I think he made a pretty good impression there at the first one. So
speaking of some changes and some announcements, breaking news right now, it does look like William Tackett is going to be taking on Kyle Chambers for the upcoming UFC BJJ card. Now, Tackett
interesting.
had made this announcement that it was one of the last people to submit him. That doesn't ring a bell on my side. It's been a minute, so I'd have to go back and look because that was before Tackett was a black belt. But when he announced that, I was looking up. I was like, who submitted him? It's taking me a minute. And Kyle Chambers, another friend of the show, I saw that he had it, and his mom actually reached out. He's like, "Did you see?" And I was like, "I did. It looked great." I sent him a note. I didn't know they were going to pair them together. That is an interesting match. I don't know how I fall on it. I'm happy for both of them to get their shot in the UFC. I don't know that they together screamed out match to me for a matchmaking purpose.
Yeah, that is a little surprising. You're right. Like that when people when one of the athletes goes, it's somebody who beat me in the past, and everyone can't figure out who it is, then it's kind of like what? But it should be exciting. They're both exciting fighters. So,
and as I mentioned, both are friends of the show, so we will be incredibly neutral. And it looks like they recently had a match at ADCC, and it was a ADCC trials. It was at West Coast Trials, and I don't think this is where you're gonna see. It was Andrew Tackett that took on Chambers, so it was his brother actually that went up against him there. I think that's fascinating. So is it? Yeah, it's gonna take me a minute to figure this out. Huh. There's also an article that says 21 plus ways to defend no-gi attacks with Kyle Chambers from Jiu-Jitsu X, which totally eluded me when it came out. But good to know, because that dude continues to threaten me. Nonetheless, Tim, I think it's time to talk about this week's low light highlight of the week. What is the fight you have on hand for us? Tell us a little bit about what we're about to see.
okay, so you may have seen this fight. It blew up. A lot of fighting going on the golf course. We've already have featured a golf course fight, the ultimate sport. quit it and start doing another sport. Nobody's playing basketball and then just goes like, you know what, let's golf right now. And they just start golfing. But you'll see people playing basketball who will go, let's fight right now. Or people who are golfing will go, let's fight right now. It's the ultimate competition. And a couple gentlemen square up. There's a lot of posturing. And there is some, this guy turns out to be a professional hockey player. X one, who I guess was like an enforcer. He could have been the world's greatest garbage man or doorman as well. Though I've never seen a guy pick up another man and throw him as far and as hard as he threw this guy. Not once, but twice.
Hold on. Oh boy. I want to put your fight on, but there's more breaking news.
Ooh, let's hear it.
All right. I'm watching this video, everybody. Moneyberg put out a video.
He's never going to give us money now, Raf.
Tim, what did I just say at the top of this show? Didn't I say, like, he's going to come back? It's not one of those, oh, you won't see the last of me. It's saying this. I'm here with the homie Gilbert Burns, 7-time national champion of Brazil, 3-time world champion, hero of Brazil and the United States alike. We're going to do a live training on Wednesday, July 16th on that web training. We're going to go over what I call the 10 commandments of wealth, the 10 things that you must do if you want to create significant wealth in your lifetime. You're going to have to outperform your peers, but the good news is this competition's never been weaker than what is today. Oh God, it's not an actual thing. It's just
he's trying. He's marketing, man. This guy might be a genius.
Here's some good news. It didn't look like he pulled everybody's wealth yet from BJJ, but they're doing it at 3 p.m. this Wednesday, and there is a moment where Burns does look like he's being held hostage. I don't have enough time to really screen. You know what? While this fight is playing, Tim, I'm 100% going to bring this on. You can tell me if this man doesn't look like he's being held hostage. But nonetheless, let's get to this fight that you brought up, because this fight is good. I'm excited about it. But I had to put that up there first. So let's see what you brought for us this week, Tim.
So golf dude here in the khakis is doing a lot of yelling and posturing at another dude. I guess he took like 20 minutes to play his hole. He's screaming. A lot of posturing, and then he charges at old boy, and then old boy takes him and literally runs him into the river, just into the drink. And his buddy's like, "Why'd you do that, man? You didn't have to do that." Now here he comes, like the swamp creature rises again, and this is where he messes up. Hockey jersey grab, boom. Except we ain't on skates. Old boy tries to run over. He gets shucked off. He's like, I don't want none. Then dude comes back with hands down, shanked again, shanked again, shanked again. Now pushes him down. Now he's going to take out the trash. Watch this. He still hasn't had enough. I got one more in me.
Launched.
Oh, airborne. Now his buddy's like, I'm calling the fight off. That's it.
You know, that was kind of cute. I like that one. Let me give you my take on it. First of all, things are not going well with Taylor Swift and the Chiefs for this guy. But he's definitely in his feels about what he needs to do. And what I love about this right now is, Tim, you can see in the background, Purple Dude is so over this shit. Purple Dude, I'm sorry, Tim, I realize is colorblind. It's been an issue for the past couple weeks. Purple Dude in the background has like the Joker getup, but for golf. And they kind of color coordinated, if you really think about it. Now, this is a lot of I see red and I beat people up and you don't. Now, Tim, did he get dumped in that little water hazard there?
Yes.
Okay. I find it admirable that you could be dumped and then crawl on all fours to make your way back into a fight, because that takes a lot of sucking up pride as a man to get back in there and say, you know what? You did hurt me. I ain't hear no bell. I ain't no bitch. Comes back in, and then guess what? Says, I'm going to get straight in your face. Now, here's where self-defense has to happen. If another man is grabbing your shirt, at least break the grips. This is something you would know if you train gi. You don't just let this, like, look at how long he has to grab these grips. Literally, 1, 2, 3, bam, 4, 5, and gets what he needs from it. Having said that, I'm going to teach all my students this a little bit later. I love that he basically comes over, and JJ Watt over here is beating the shit out of Kelsey. Now, he's going to do it again. He did it once, he's going to do it again. He pulls him back, and I have to say, the yo-yo of this is impressive because, Tim, it takes a lot to be able to grab somebody like this and go, stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Like, it's impressive. It's a lot of coordination that I actually have an appreciation for. Pushing away of, no, don't. He's just a boy. Ah!
He knocked his hat off.
Boom, boom, boom. This is basically the Happy Gilmore fight. This is 100% how Bob Barker beat up Happy Gilmore in that movie. Watch. Ding. Overhand right, overhand right, overhand right. Drops him down, says the price is wrong, bitch. And then, that's what we get from here. I love the shouting that happens. Like, it's trying to tell him to stay down, and he won't. And he grabs the shirt again. This is his signature move. If you don't learn it once, twice, thrice, shame on you. That's really what it is. And then, just like Brock Lesnar's daughter,
look at
gets
his
a
body.
great shot.
He got flash knocked out. Look at that. He's flash knocked out.
But it's one where he's also half asleep as he got thrown. Like, it's
what a perfect pause, Raf. Great job.
It's so good.
Is he dead? Oh no, he's not dead. He's not dead.
You know when wrestlers lose in the ring, they roll themselves out to let the guy have their hero shot. That's exactly what that was. That dude was like, oh, no. The people need to know what this face looks like. Okay, here is a still shot from the video I told you was breaking news that's happening later this week. Okay?
Oh, no.
Okay. Now, this is where he said the live roll is going to happen, which I don't know if a live roll means that they're actually just going to talk and roll the shit. But if he's going to train, that's more of what we're looking at here. But this, remember how I told you, it looked like Burns is being held hostage. I need you to make an argument that he is not. Go.
Oh, he just ate because this guy's no longer supporting jiu-jitsu. They went all out and they bought a giant tub of acai because he's not going to eat acai anymore either. He can't support jiu-jitsu in any way. So he just had one last pig out, and Burns is just sitting there thinking like, damn, I had to cut weight with this guy, except I did the opposite. I had to add weight with this guy. I had to eat a gallon of acai, and this guy had him put a whole jar of Jiffy peanut butter on top of it. That's that, and his mouth is glued shut because the peanut butter is so sticky, and there's some honey in there, and there's some like carob bits that are still stuck in the teeth, so he can't talk. He's just sitting there like, I really got to go to the bathroom. I shouldn't have had all that acai. That's my argument for him, or he's in hostage. There's only two options. That's it.
That's how he looked. I think I recreated it. It was mostly just him.
It does look like a hostage. You're right. You're right,
saying,
dude.
All right. Tim, why don't you tell the people where they can find you and what is coming up next for us on Tuesday?
You could find me at Inside BJJ on Instagram and all your favorite social medias. On Tuesday, we will have another installment of the bullpen for the PGF. Season 8 is right around the corner. I think we got about a week and a half before that happens. A lot of cool stuff happening. We can break down the matches. We'll be talking about all things PGF. I can't wait to do that. Before I jump off, I do want to say this. Big shout out to our homie, Ben Askren. The dude's alert. He had a double lung transplant. He's talking. He's making jokes. He doesn't look like Ben Askren. He looks like somebody else. You could tell he's been through some serious stuff. So I'm glad that he's trying to get on the other side of that. We wish him well.
Thank you for that, Tim. I appreciate you. And yes, we will be back Tuesday. We're not sure if we're doing the draft or not, so stay tuned. We'll figure out more information as we come along. But go support Tim. I will talk to you a little bit later, my man. As for me, my friends, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's installment of the Bullpen. You know, we're doing it twice a week now, so you're going to want to tune in Tuesdays and Fridays. Get that memorized. So if you can't make it to one, what's wrong with you? What are you guys? People in Ohio? You got stuff to do. Watch us. You don't even have to watch the Real American Freestyle Federation. Raf. I'm adding the extra F. Anyway, if you guys want to support us, go to patreon.com/grappling-hour. You can find me there, my interviews 30 days before anybody else, and much, much more. Additional stuff coming up in the pipeline. We've got some great interviews. We have more stuff from the PGF that is going to find its way out very, very soon. So very excited to share all of those things with you guys. But I think that's going to do it for me here at the show. I thank you so much for watching. It has been an incredible day, and we will see you Tuesday.